Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2. So what we're going to be doing in this episode is we're going to be setting ourselves up for some future missions. If you watched my first Kerbal Space Program series that I did, my mostly stock career playthrough of KSP1, you'll recognize that one of the things I like to do is to have some reusable, like, universal designs that have, like, repeat use utility value, where I can take, the same kind of design and use it over the long term for all kinds of different stuff. And that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be setting myself up, assuming I can. It's not quite going to look very good on the new part. You know what? I'm going to switch that to double. Yeah, so I'm going to be making myself a crew return vehicle that I'm going to be making extensive use of throughout this career playthrough, as sort of a known, working, safe, viable sort of a craft, when I just need to have something in place to get crew back down to Kerbin safely. We're going to construct the orbital segment of the vehicle itself and get set up with, that's going to, well, no, I've got the electricity up there. And get set up with a test flight just to make sure that this thing all actually works, right? And after that, we're going to take it and we're actually going to start going places. So bear with me here for a minute as I get this all constructed and tested. Okay, so we have our Athena 1 that we've built here out on the launch pad once we get the camera fixed with a relatively simple booster design. My hope is that this is going to have more than enough delta V, even with a really sloppy flight trajectory, to get this into orbit around Kerbin and still have a bit of delta V left over in case we want to use the same booster for like a flyby of the moon or something. So let's get going up. Nice and steady so far. Looking good here. There's at least a 50% chance that we're going to start to tumble as I start my gravity turn. I did some playing around offline in between recording the intro episode 0 and this episode 1. Mostly just trying out some of the new parts. But I did find that a lot of booster designs that would have been stable in KSP1 have an enormous amount of like noodly wobble and pretty serious tumble problems in Kerbal Space Program 2. I actually went through, because I was curious, and made a couple of rockets using identical parts in KSP1 and KSP2. And of course, the stats aren't perfect. It's not a scientific comparison. But, a 99% similar rocket in KSP1 versus KSP2. And the same rocket in KSP2 ended up having, like, massive tumble problems on ascent. it was incredibly unstable. Because when I started running into that problems, you know, my first instinct is always to assume that I have made a mistake. You know, that I made an error in, you know, designing my rocket, that the weight and balance is all wrong. But no, sure enough, it looks like whatever physics and drag calculations and everything are done in KSP2 are just a little wonky compared to KSP1. And sometimes there are weirdness issues where a booster that should be fine just is very much not fine. So throughout the course of this series, I think that a lot of the challenge is going to be fighting the Kraken, even though they have supposedly slain the Kraken. Yeah. And, you know, that's fine. I mean, it's all about the journey, right? Alright, so let's get this thing into orbit. Get our solar panels out. So this is something else I discovered up here on the left, this vehicle actions panel. At a quick glance, I thought that this was enabling or disabling alerts. Like you're gonna find in a minute when I go behind the planet, I'm gonna get this weird alert pop up warning me that my solar panels no longer are, you know, in line of sight of the sun. Watch it not do it. Yeah, this. Alright, these notifications. I thought that this panel was enabling or disabling what I would get notifications for. But these are actually control group options that are automatically generated, like for lights, brakes, landing gear, solar panel, and your abort stage if you define one. That's useful, and I really wish I'd known about that, you know, a day or two ago. But in any case, alright, here we are in orbit around Kerbin. We've still got a bit of Delta V left in our second stage there, so that's fine. A nice little design. We'll turn on the lights. And just for good measure, let's get ourselves to a good stop. We're going to send one of our crew out on a quick EVA. We'll do Valentina. What the? Alright, yeah, whatever. Okay. This is my first time doing an EVA in KSP2 in space. Okay, there we go. Why am I... Okay, I guess we have magnetic boots. That is good to know. Okay, all the EVA controls are basically the same. And we didn't run into any Kraken problems doing that EVA and reboarding, so that is always a good sign. Having achieved a stable orbit, we are going to go around and land our vessel. And, you know, again, because KSP2 is only in sandbox mode here, we don't have to worry about, like, funding or anything like that. So there's nothing to lose by doing a mission like this just to test something. We're not losing any money. You know, there are no resources that we're missing out on or anything like that. My mouse keeps going to the upper left when I want to find the time warp. That is probably going to happen for a long time for me. I am a creature of habit. Alright, to get oriented for landing. Lack of stellar exposure. See, I was getting notifications for a part that is no longer attached. What a mess. I don't need your notification about solar panels that no longer exist. Maybe if I Maybe that'll tuck them back in. There are still some pretty serious problems here in this build with like controls taking effect on previous stages and like vehicles you're no longer controlling after you've shift focus and stuff, and it's a little wonky. And again, here's this very familiar mountain range that I've seen many, many times. Alright, looks like we're actually going to come down in the mountains this time, so that'll be a little interesting. We are set to AGL. Look at that. They did such a great job with the visuals here. Like, even with my medium graphics settings, I think this looks really good. Even if it absolutely destroys my frame rate and performance on a system that really should be doing quite well. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, that's not good. Alright, we're going to turn on Stability Assist to lock ourselves in place and avoid the tumble. And because I can't find any other way to do it and nothing comes up automatically, we're going to hit Escape and Recover Vessel. Okay. And I guess we're going to go back to Kerbal Space Center. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to get ourselves with a little bit stronger of a booster. So we're going to load up that same vehicle we were just running. You can't double-click to load the saves. The new user interface is going to take me so long to get used to, and there's still a lot of problems with it. But anyway, and I'm going to be doing something a little different here. Little different. Oh, whoops. There we go. Ah. See, you saw me translate down with the camera. When I right-clicked to try and right-click to drag to rotate my camera, it snapped me back up to there for some reason. That is profoundly annoying. Anyway, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be turning this into a direct-ascent moonlander. Because why not? Now, we're going to need... Is it under structural? We're going to need an engine mount. And I'm going to be going with some relatively high-thrust engines. Yeah... See, normally for this, I'd do like a large cluster of some smaller engines. But in this case, it's going to be a little weird. But I need to get... I want to make sure I get to a relatively dense thrust-to-weight ratio. Yeah, that would be too big and too much overkill. And this would be nowhere near enough. So I think it's going to have to be the Aerospike engine and a whole bunch of Twitch engines. And now it thinks my thrust-to-weight ratio is gone down? What? What? Are you kidding me, KSP2? Alright, that's a bit better. Man, that is wonky. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the work on this and build out a direct-ascent moonlander. So give me just a moment. You like that little trick there? See what I just did? The internal struts? That's me trying to compensate for the lack of auto struts. Right, so I'm filling out my crew for this vehicle, and I'm noticing my other crew have just disappeared. That's a little disconcerting. We had Jeb, Valentina, I think Bill. And in that first one, we had Tim C. Yeah, I'm just noticing, like, all of my recovered crew have disappeared and, like, vanished into the ether. That's not great. So I guess Kerbals are, like, expendable crew now? Not sure what I think about that. Alright, let's, There's save. Alright, so this is our direct-assent Moonlander. It may end up being a little bit of overkill. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. It may not even get off the ground very far, wobble over, crash, and die. But we'll find out. That's half the fun, is playing around in Kerbal Space Program 2 here, trying to see what kind of mischief we can make. Alright, let's fix our camera. Now that we know how to do that, it's the V key is going to resolve that for us. Okay. F5 for safety. Up we go. Very slowly. We don't have a super high thrust to weight ratio on this first stage, but that's honestly, that's fine. Oh, the sun's coming up. That's some weird looking shadows and lighting. But that is where we're going to be going. After our frame rates get back up into double digits. This rocket really shouldn't be killing my performance so much. I have to wonder, like, if the frame rate and performance is this bad with just a moon rocket like this, how are we supposed to create vessels using all those, like, extra large jumbo size parts that are going to require, you know, Titanic boosters to actually get up into orbit? You know, like, there's some jumbo size hydrogen tanks and stuff like that that are big, enormous spheres that are very obviously meant to be used for, you know, like, extremely long-range interplanetary or interstellar vessels. I don't know how we're going to get any of that into space with, like, you know, 2 frames per second. But, yeah, I guess we'll see. You know, one of the developers mentioned during a Q&A that, like, their office staff is hooked on playing the game. And it's, like, become an issue for them because everybody's goofing off playing KSP2 instead of, like, working on developing it and fixing the bugs. I really want to believe that that was a true statement, but I also want to believe that the people working on the game you know, are going to be running into these same issues and would have an incentive to fix them if they're actually playing it. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm going to brave the Kraken and go ahead and speed up a little bit and see if I can get this thing up into orbit. Oh. Okay, that was a little scary, but we made it. And I know that my angle of ascent is not optimal. I could and probably should be gravity turning harder. But you're going to find that my launch trajectories are going to be extremely conservative getting started here in KSP2, just because I've had so many wobble problems with large, tall rockets like this, doing somersaults, flipping over end, trying to just go through like stage 1. But we'll get there. We'll get there. It's all good. Nine frames per second. Our frame rate has gone down after jettisoning those boosters. Outstanding. Outstanding. You'd think I was running this on like a frickin' Game Boy. Alright, so we've got our apoapsis up to 125,000 meters or so now. So we can essentially go straight horizontal for our gravity turn. Get some horizontal momentum up because we held off on the gravity turn deliberately just to make sure we were actually going to get into space without doing somersaults. I'm trying to stage. Oh. Alright, so that's another mild annoyance. I had hit my spacebar twice while I was in time warp, forgetting that I couldn't stage while I was in time warp, and when I went back down to 1x, it automatically jumped through my queued up inputs. So that's potentially dangerous. That's going to cause people, probably myself included, to make some pretty heavy mistakes. But, let's get going and target the moon. And we're actually on a relatively good launch window. That worked out well. That worked out well. No complaints, no complaints. Right, I'm going to go ahead and speed up a little bit, see if I can actually get this over there. This is annoying. There doesn't seem to be a way to disable that mechanism stopping me from time warping just because I'm almost out of fuel on this stage. Okay, I just did an F5 quick save. I'm kind of at a decision point on whether or not I want to try and do a suicide burn straight down, or if I want to go into an orbit and loop down that way. It's a tricky question, and there are some pretty serious risks either way. I think I'm going to try and do it this way. It's going to be sort of a hybrid. Not quite going orbital. Not quite a flat suicide burn. So this stage that I'm in now, that ended up being my lunar trans stage, this was supposed to be my landing stage. Like, this was supposed to get me 90% of the way down to the surface. I don't know if that's going to end up being realistic. Wait a minute, what? Is that... I don't know if you guys can see it after the video is rendering. I think I've got something over there on the horizon. Alright, I'm gonna have to go look at that, assuming I can actually get down and land. Oh, we can see our shadow. All right, this is a relatively good sign. I think we're going to make it. Yeah, we're easily going to make it. So I need to do this. Okay. I don't like that it thinks these engines are almost out of fuel. It's like it didn't register the staging, jettisoning that previous set of fuel tanks and stuff. I really don't like that. And look at our frame rate chop. But oh no 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 RCS RCS come on come on go 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 RCS RCS oh okay RCS for the win. Now, is it going to stay stable if I turn that off and, like, turn off SAS? We're bouncing around a little bit more than I want, but I'm going to hit F5 for safety and call that a success. Now, I think I see something over on the horizon. It's like a blue dot. I don't know if you can see that in rendering. I'm going to go try and... I don't know if that's like... Oh no, that's going to fall over. That is totally going to fall over. Oh, 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 no, no, I don't want to fall underneath it. Oh, that won't be good. Or is that maybe just a star? I can't really tell. That is just a star, but I could have swore when we were on our way down, I saw something off on the horizon. I am going to go look around for it. And, yeah, I'll probably clip this just in case I don't find anything. Okay, so spoiler alert, I didn't find anything. I went and I ran the direction I thought I saw northwest. I'm sorry, northeast. I'm pretty sure I saw something like right around here, but I ran like 10 kilometers out, and it took a while. I ran out of monopropellant. It was going to take way too long to get back, so I reloaded a quick save. But I found nothing, so I gave up. But there's first moon landing. Whee! There's definitely something over there. It might have been like a weird like surface geyser or something like that. You know, I don't know if you remember, but back in Kerbal Space Program 1, in one of the patches, now I got to get back on my ship, they added in like these weird surface craters on the moon, these like impact craters that were interactable objects that you could do science from. And what I saw over there definitely looked like it had some potential to be something like that. It definitely stood out from the rest of the terrain. But that, yeah, I'm gonna try and fly off in that direction as I take off, not just because I have to go that direction anyway to get back into orbit for my return trajectory, but I want to see if maybe I can see something from I almost said from the air, from my suborbital trajectory. Why do I have no fuel? That was a weird glitch. Let me try and stage. Can I not stage? I can't trigger my stage separation? Okay. Well, this is almost certainly not going to have enough to get me home. I should have had some more fuel left down in there. But as I'm going by, I want to try and keep an eye out. Because I am pretty sure I saw something over here. Oh, and I no longer have... Yeah, that's great. That's what I get for, like, reloading my save I made when I landed. I tempted the Kraken's wrath, and he ate me. Right there. There's something there. Do you see it? Alright, fuel be damned. Maybe this is a one-way trip. I found something. My eyes did not deceive me. There was something over there. Oh, it's a moon arch. At least it looks like it. Okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get close to it, but it looks like I found a moon arch. Alright, Easter eggs confirmed. And I have, I planted the flag, so I at least have a point of reference. I know where that is. So I'm going to come back and check this out. Right about here. Okay. Well, alright, so there's almost no chance of me getting back to Kerbin. But at the very least, I can maybe try and get into orbit around the moon, although I don't think I'm going to have the Delta V to do it. Oh, wait a minute, look at this. I don't know what the hell's going on without my orbital trajectory guide. Wait a minute, really? Did I just get myself on a return trajectory? Look at that, says my apoapsis is 11,000. Alright, I'm going to hit F5, I'm going to save. And I'm going to save, just for good measure. Oh, it's 11 kilometers, not 11,000 meters. No, 11 kilometers is 11,000 meters. Why did it... Alright, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. And my altitude is definitely all screwed up. You know what? Screw it. All right, we've got a negative periapsis. This is going to be a little tricky. Ooh. And I'm hitting space. I can't stage separate with space. I have to hit the button. That's an annoying problem. But, alright. In any case, down we go. This first mission to go land on the moon was full of so much Kraken. Does not bode well. But, you know, that's half the adventure. Okay. Alright, and we're going to make it down and land. So it looks like we, if nothing else, we will have validated our design and shown that it can work. Presumably with a little room to spare, you know? Some of those maneuvers I didn't really turn out very good. The ascent, of course, was not optimal, either from Kerbin or the moon, because I lost my orbital indicators. So that was rough. But generally speaking, this was a successful mission. So I'm going to recover vessel. And close and go to Kerbal Space Center. So I am gonna go ahead and call that an episode, and make sure to check out the next one, and we'll see where KSP2 takes us next. As always, thanks for watching.